James City County is booming. Since 1980, population has nearly tripled, and during the past 6 years, it's increased more than 23%. As the 10th fastest growing locality in Virginia, we're enjoying robust growth and all the benefits that it brings to our community. However, with growth comes responsibility. More people, more business means greater demand for resources, and if we're not careful, it can put a strain on nature's most precious resource of all. There is simply no substitute for clean water. Without it, our health would be compromised, as would the boundless opportunities for recreation that exist here in James City County. Of course, rain is where it all comes from, and what happens after it hits the ground makes all the difference when it comes to clean water. Ideally, rain should be gradually absorbed through the ground, eventually working its way to rivers, streams, and onto the Chesapeake Bay.
It's been largely a rural, forested community, wetlands, lots of large-scale forests, and those absorb a lot of rainwater themselves very naturally.
But as we've grown, there are fewer trees and shrubs, more homes, buildings, and pavement. When rain falls in these surfaces, it's channeled and begins a swift journey through downspouts, along parking lots and driveways, onto the street, and finally into drainage systems. Most of us don't think about what happens after that, but consider this. Take each roof, each driveway and parking lot, and multiply it by tens of thousands. That's an enormous amount of water being propelled through our waterways. The result, eroded stream beds damaged by flash floods, creating massive amounts of sediment and pollutants in our waterways that remove oxygen and endanger aquatic life.
You go back in and you essentially try to slow that water down. You try to restore the channel to its naturalized conditions. Many times they've sort of been turned into straight line ditches because the water flow's been too rapid.
That means repairing stream beds and maintaining retention ponds like this one at Long Hill Gate. In 2006, this project earned James City County's PRIDE designation. PRIDE stands for Protecting Resources in Delicate Environments. And that's exactly what we have right now in James City County. A delicate environment. Something has to be done now more than ever because both the federal and state government are requiring stricter measures. Because our citizens value their local environment, the county has been working hard for several years to restore waterways. However, we are now obligated to do more.
We have to do it because of requirements from the state and national governments. But we want to do it as well because it does make for better opportunities for recreational use of our waterways, for protection of property values.
But doing more means spending more, so county leadership decided it was time to consult citizens on this critical issue.
Our role was to work with the consultants and the county staff and to give advice to the Board of Supervisors on how we thought the stormwater management utility ought to be set up.
John Patton is a member of the James City County Stormwater Advisory Committee. After meeting for 8 months, this committee endorsed the creation of a stormwater utility.
But what we didn't want to do was make it part of the tax base itself, because the tax base would be in competition with schools, would be in competition with fire, police, et cetera, and the usual tax things.
Which means the county must create a separate funding source. To accomplish this goal in the fairest possible way, residents and businesses will be assessed a monthly fee based on impact.
The fee is calculated on the amount of what we call impervious cover on a parcel. Roofs, parking lots, sidewalks, those things where the water can't infiltrate and it just runs off.
The more runoff a property creates, the more its owners pay. Most single-family homes create a similar amount of runoff, so each property owner will be assessed $4.90 per month. Commercial and multifamily properties will be billed according to the amount of runoff each one creates. But simply paying a bill and letting county government take care of the rest will not solve the problem.
It's not one big magic bullet. There's a wide range of things that have to be done, all of which will add up to better protection for our natural resources.
With each rainstorm, pet waste, oil, fertilizers, and sediment are washed away and sent into rivers, lakes, and streams. Each one of us must do our part to reduce this type of runoff. Here are some things you can do to make a difference. Clean up after your pets and dispose of waste properly. Reduce pesticides and herbicides in your landscape. Use chemical fertilizers sparingly. Plant instead of pave. Replace turf adjacent to waterways with vegetative buffers that will slow stormwater. Redirect runoff from roofs, patios, and driveways. Disconnect downspouts over pavement and redirect that water to landscaped areas. Leave the storm drains for the storms. Never put used motor oil, leaves, yard clippings, antifreeze, paint, or any other waste directly into storm drains, channels, or inlets. To learn more, log on to these websites, jccegov.com and protectedwithpride.org, or call 259-1460. Remember, protecting our most precious resource requires a team effort. Together, we can make sure our waterways remain healthy for generations to come.